Yeah.
Okay, when you're ready, Em.
Thanks, popcorn.
You go out with a carriage then, do you?
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Well, that's pretty good fun, isn't it?
That's brilliant. We compete a bit, sorry.
Yeah, he needs to on the back. He's a driver, so he
Right.
likes it in the
Please, walking on.
back. There you go.
Good lad. Sorry, he's a carriage driver, so he takes instruction from behind, really, rather than in front. So, just to get him going. So this is Mr. Blaze. First time he's ever done the apple press. So you can, there's a lot more noise when the apples are squishing. So he's getting used to the sound of the apple squishing. Good boy.
Well, this is how. What we're doing here is we're breaking up the apples prior to pressing them. So we're breaking them up and turning them into a pulp, and then we're going to transfer them. So this is called the mill. So this is an old horse-drawn cider mill. So once we've broken them up and turned them into a sort of apple puree, we'll then transfer them into the press, and we'll build up a series of what are called cheeses, which are envelopes of this pulp. And then the press will be able to squeeze the juice out of the pulp, and then we'll be left with juice, which will make into cider, and then the apple pumice that you can see here will almost be like flapjack. It'll be very dry and all the juice will be squeezed out of it. So we can probably start to, we'll stir that in a little bit, and then we'll move it into the press after that. So they stopped using these.
They're still lower.
So these were used up until the sort of beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and then there's one underneath that sheet there. Those are then called scratters. So those would be driven either by people or possibly, perhaps it'd go around a little bit more, or possibly by a stationary engine, and that's when it starts to get a bit more mechanised. But those do the same job. They were made locally. Workman and Co were making them in Slim Range. They were winning competitions for them in the 1800s. Right. Yep.
Thanks, popcorn.
Get a few more apples in there.
Yeah, give it quick.
These apples are being picked by volunteers for the museum from St Augustine's Farm in Arlington. And I'm here from the other side of the river, from Severn Cider. We're going to turn these apples into cider.
How long will it take once all the juice has been taken out of the apples and the
Well,
bread?
we'll ferment it, so it'll ferment quite slowly, and we'll get a fast fermentation initially, and it'll froth out the top. And then ideally, what we do is we transfer the juice then into a fresh barrel, and all the yeast from the initial fast fermentation will be at the bottom of the barrel, and probably some apple solids. We'll leave that behind, and then we'll have a more clear juice in a second barrel, and then we'd probably mature that round about till about Easter time.
Oh, okay.
And then once it stopped like fizzing a lot, so once most of the sugars get turned to alcohol, then we bang a bung down into the top.
And keep it inside.
and keep it in, and then what will actually happen is that quite a lot of CO2, because the fermentation will carry on, quite a lot of CO2 will get absorbed into the cider then.
And is that what gives it the fizz?
Yeah, so when you first open that barrel at Easter, that cider will actually be fizzy, but that fizz will come out of it very, very quickly, but it's absolutely delicious when you first tap a barrel.
Wow.
Right, so I reckon we could probably put some of that pulp into the press now.
Shall I help you?
Cheese. Yeah, you can help. Look, we could turn it in. I think we'll turn it in first because they're not quite mushed up properly yet.
Right.
Yeah. This is very good shoving for this job because it's made of stainless steel, so it won't react with the apple pumice and turn the cider black, which it would if it was steel or iron.
So would they perhaps use wooden?
There was a wooden shovel here that we're temporarily unsure of its whereabouts today.
Little boy.
Please, popcorn. He's better. Now there's some resistance.
He's better, is he?
He's pulling properly.
I think what we'll do is we'll keep adding apples to this, and it will build up, and it wants to be a fair bit more broken down than this, really.
He's getting his head in the job for having a little bit more resistance.
And he's standing in a way that he's happier.
Yeah, he's better now. He's pulling something instead of it just rolling ahead of him.
I think he wishes he was back doing dressage because it might be a bit easier than this. Oh, we're slopping over the edge.
Got some overflow, Tom?
Yeah,
You're not eating it.
Oh, he's got stuck as they don't spread them out a bit.
yeah, the pulp's pushing the apples in.
Is it? Put
They said I was going to help.
I was going to eat it.
I was
for
going to
you.
lick it on the side.
Do you think, when they were doing this properly, the horses got fatter and fatter from eating the apples?
And by the end of the day, probably quite drunk as well.
Yeah, probably, fermenting their stomachs. Yeah, of course. Drunk horses.
Is what he's doing the right sort of speed? You know.
So yeah, I think we want to be going around fairly slowly, we're just trying to reduce it into like an apple puree type consistency. And a little bit more broken down than this. We won't put any more apples in and we'll just keep trundling around.
Just chuck it in the top and it comes out fine.
Okay, happy first.
Yeah, so,
Popcorn.
Good boy.